And then there's people like me who, when I went there again, I was fat. I'm not quite thin now, but I was fat for a 15-year-old, and he took it upon himself that I was unhealthy, uncapped, and I didn't care about myself. So they would make you exercise, and you always kind of like unrealistic, like 150 push-ups in a minute. And they would make sure that, you and your cohort here are the ones that are going to rain down the punishment for you not getting it done. That was your basic day. How do I avoid punishment? How do I avoid getting in trouble? What can I do to blend in as much as possible to not get called out and in trouble? And you try and survive. I mean, they would pit you against each other. They pit you against the other person in your bunk, the person you shared a fucking bed with, the person that you had to share space with every day. They pit you against people that they knew didn't like you, had a problem with you. And they would do boxing matches to try and make that a better situation so the person that had the problem could deal with it and get it out of their system, which really meant beating the shit out of someone who couldn't fight back. They all really varied. I mean, a lot of them were a lot of exercise, a lot of punishment, a lot of hearing how awful you were, why you're here. There was nothing about trying to reform you. It's like they're telling you why you're here and how bad you are, and it's their problem to take care of you now. So there was none of the helping to reform people into the world and really help to make them more godly. What the fuck they wanted to say they were doing, they weren't doing. They were just making sure that they kept themselves employed and paid, and on the expense of every young, impressionable kid's emotion. So a basic day at Bethel, again, I say varied for the sake of it's the only best way to say it. Some days were a lot of exercise. We had a couple days where we got off it or away from it, or it was a Sunday. We didn't have to work that hard, but most days were pretty arduous. Made a point, especially if you got in trouble.
And when you say pitting the kids against each other, do you want to elaborate on that just a little bit? Tell me what that means.
Good example. I'm a newcomer. You're a senior cadet. It's your job to make my life hell. It's your job as essentially my equal there to make my life as miserable as possible. You're the one hurting me, not them. So they're clean. But it's under their instruction that you're doing it. And you're still a minor yourself. So take that scenario and kind of put it into the entire day. That's how it was constructed. Who can affect who and how badly. Really, by fear of the fist. Absolutely. How do you control a population? By fear. You control them by making sure they know that you're in charge. They know that you can't fight back. And if you could, we all could have fucking ganged up and done it. There was 35, 40 of us. We're way stronger than 8 of them, but we were all too scared to do it. No one had the guts to do it. We ran instead. That's the biggest one for me. We all could have fought back, but we didn't because the fear was that strong. It was that real. It was that driven. And people bought into it. So you weren't safe. Ever.